The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, a beacon of hope for children all over the world. Hope that protects them, hope that secures their future. Question: why has the US not ratified it? Dear Mr. Trump, my name is STEPHAN Schuermann. I'm the father of Duke Sean Schuermann, who has been wrongfully retained in your country. I implore you to raise the issue on the Convention of the Rights of the Child in the Senate so that children all over the world, including my son, and the children of 200,000 left behind parents may benefit from it and have a happy life they so rightly deserve. The Convention of the Rights of the Child is an internationally recognized agreement between nations which establishes a comprehensive set of goals for individual nations to achieve on behalf of their children. Recognizing the special vulnerability of children, these goals are expressed with respect to a child's age and evolving capacities. The child's best interests are always the paramount concern. The Convention repeatedly emphasizes the primacy and importance of the role, authority and responsibility of parents and family. It is neutral on abortion and it's consistent with the principles contained in the Bill of Rights. In general, the Convention calls for freedom from violence, abuse, hazardous employment, exploitation, abduction, or sale. Article 10 of the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child states explicitly that any applications by a child or his or her parent to enter or leave a state party for the purpose of family reunification shall be dealt with by state parties in a positive, humane, and expeditious manner. Article 13 of this convention assigns the inalienable right of a citizen to leave and return freely to his or her country of citizenship. Adequate nutrition, free compulsory education, adequate health care, equal treatment regardless of gender, race, or cultural background, the right to express opinions and freedom of thought in matters affecting them, safe exposure, access to leisure, play, culture, and art. The CRC was adopted by the General Assembly on 20 November 1989 and has been ratified by 195 countries, including Somalia. The United Nations applauded Somalia ratification of the CRC back in 2015, a move which was praised as being an important step toward protecting and promoting the rights of all children in the war-torn nation and an explicit commitment towards improving the lives of its youngest citizens, making it the most widely ratified international human rights treaty in history. As of today, only one country has yet to ratify the landmark treaty, the United States of America. The US signed the treaty under Bill Clinton in 1995, an essentially symbolic agreement with the principles set forth under the treaty. But ratification of any treaty in the United States requires a 2/3 majority vote in the Senate to pass, and a number of Republican senators claiming concerns about US sovereignty have consistently opposed ratification. Though his administration signed it, President Clinton never pushed the Senate for ratification, and nor did George W. Bush. At a debate on US issues a month before the 2008 election, candidate Obama said, "It's embarrassing to find ourselves in the company of Somalia, a lawless land. I will review this and other treaties to ensure the United States resumes its global leadership in human rights." At the time, there were only 2 countries that hadn't ratified because South Sudan was not yet an independent nation. President Obama has not acted despite his campaign pledge losing the opportunity of the anniversary and the last 6 weeks of Democratic rule in the Senate to push for ratification. It seems clear the Obama administration did not want to waste political capital on it. Mr. Trump, here are some facts. The US is falling behind on several children's rights indicators. First, poverty. As of 2010, the US ranked 30th out of 34 OECD countries in terms of child poverty. 21.2% of children in the United States live in poverty. The average for OECD countries is 13.3. Only Chile, Turkey, Mexico, and Israel had higher child poverty rates than the United States. Leading nation? I don't think so. Second, maternal leave. The US is the only high-income country not to grant paid maternal leave. Third, criminal justice. The US is also the only country in the world that sentences offenders under the age of 18 to life in prison without parole, which is the convention strictly opposes. Fourth, the United States has permitted the execution and life imprisonment of juvenile offenders in contravention of Article 37 of the Convention. In 2005, a Supreme Court decision declared juvenile executions to be unconstitutional as cruel and unusual punishment. In 2012, the court held that mandatory sentences of life without the possibility of parole are unconstitutional for juvenile offenders. Fifth, the USA government is involved in crimes against humanity, including taxpayer-funded human trafficking, harboring of illegal aliens, child kidnapping, and enforced disappearance of children by government officials. I'm a victim of the above, so I know what I'm talking about. The two environmental factors have created obstacles to moving the CRC ahead expeditiously. Due to widespread misconceptions about the Convention's intent and provisions, a lack of public understanding about how this type of agreement is implemented by a government, the Convention has encountered a notable level of opposition with the Senate and in the public. Until a more favorable political environment can be achieved and a greater public support can be attained, further movement on ratification will be difficult. Conservative religious organizations, including the Christian Coalition, Concerned Women for America, Eagle Forum, Family Research Council, Focus on the Family, the John Birch Society, the National Center for Home Education, and the Rutherford Institute have spearheaded the efforts in opposition to the Convention. Really? And you talk about protecting children? What a joke. These organizations have made a significant effort to portray the Convention as a threat. The majority of the opposition's claims stem from unfounded concerns related to national sovereignty, states' rights, and the parent-child relationship. The most common unfounded concerns voiced by the opposition include: number one, the Convention usurps national and state sovereignty. Number two, the Convention undermines parental authority. Number three, the Convention would allow and encourage children to sue parents, join gangs, have abortions. Number four, the United Nations would dictate how we raise and teach our children. These claims and perceptions are a result of misconceptions, fake news, erroneous information, and a lack of understanding about how international human rights treaties are implemented in the United States. Notably, in many cases, the Convention's opponents criticized provisions which were added by the Reagan and Bush administration during drafting the process in an effort to reflect the rights American children have under the US Constitution. But, Mr. Trump, the Convention contains no controlling language or mandates. Moreover, under the supremacy clause of your Constitution, no treaty can override your Constitution. The United States has historically regarded treaties such as this Convention to be non-self-executing, which means the Convention can only be implemented through domestic legislation enacted by Congress or state legislatures in a manner and time frame determined by our own legislative process. Moreover, the United States can reject or attach clarifying language to any specific provision of the Convention. Therefore, neither the United Nations nor the Committee on the Rights of the Child would have dominion, power, or enforcement authority over the United States or its citizens. Ultimately, the Convention obligates the federal government to make sure that the provisions of the treaty are fulfilled. According to Human Rights Watch, US law still exempts children as young as 12 from working in agriculture under dangerous conditions in violation of the Convention. Prohibitions on the economic exploitation of children. US leaders like to say the US is the world leader on human rights. That claim is undermined by its failure to join the rest of the world in ratifying this convention. Mr. Trump, what will your legacy be? Will you take up this important issue and be an angel to the children? Will you help reunite me with my son, who has been held in the US illegally? Because the corrupt judges passed unjustified judgments, but if they realized that there is such an authority that defends the children, I'm sure many cases would have had different outcomes, happier outcomes. So, can we count on you, dear Mr. Trump, President-elect, to make America great again and protect the most vulnerable members of our society, our children? Respectfully yours, this is a message from STEPHAN Schuermann, a loving and concerned father fighting for the liberty and freedom of his child.